What if I told you that the most profitable company in the history of Silicon Valley just fired 8,000 people this week? Not because business was bad, not because they were losing money, because they were making too much of it. Meta, the company behind Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, reported $56 billion in revenue last quarter, $26 billion in profit. Record numbers. The best quarter in the company's history. And then, on the same week those numbers came out, they sent 8,000 people an email saying their jobs were gone. But here is the part that nobody is talking about. Before the layoffs happened, Meta was secretly recording what its employees typed on their keyboards. Every keystroke, every click, to train the very AI that just replaced them. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what is happening, and more importantly, whether your job is next. Let us start with the numbers because they tell a story that should make every working person uncomfortable. Meta's capital expenditure for 2026 is between $125 billion and $145 billion. That is more than twice what they spent last year. Every dollar of that money is going to AI infrastructure, servers, chips, data centers, and the researchers to run them. At the same time, Meta is cutting 8,000 employees, 10% of its entire global workforce. An additional 6,000 job openings have been canceled. More cuts are expected in August and again in the autumn. In total, 14,000 positions are being eliminated in one move. The math is brutal. Meta is not cutting because it cannot afford people. It is cutting because it has decided that $145 billion of AI infrastructure will generate more value than the salaries of 14,000 humans. That is not a company in trouble. That is a company that has done the calculation and concluded that the machines win. And Meta is not alone. This same week, Intuit cut 17% of its global workforce. Cisco announced 4,000 more cuts. Goldman Sachs reported that AI-driven layoffs across the entire economy are running at over 16,000 jobs per month in 2026. Over 140 tech companies have already cut 111,000 positions this year. So who exactly got fired? The cuts hit Meta's Reality Labs division, its VR and Metaverse unit, the Facebook product organization, recruiting, sales, global operations. These are not peripheral teams. These are core business functions that Meta ran for years. At the same time, Meta is creating brand new teams. The Applied AI Engineering Group, the Agent Transformation Accelerator, the Central Analytics Division. 7,000 employees are being redirected, not fired, but moved into these AI-focused pods. And here is what makes this story different from every other tech layoff you have heard about. Meta is simultaneously offering compensation packages reaching $100 million for senior AI researchers joining its new Meta Superintelligence Labs. $100 million. For one person. So this is the picture. If you work in operations, sales, recruiting, or general engineering, you got a layoff email. If you are an elite AI researcher, Meta is writing you a 9-figure check to join. The middle of the skills ladder has been removed. The top is being paid more than ever. The bottom is being automated. And the people in the middle, the experienced, capable, hardworking employees who built these companies, are receiving 16 weeks of severance and a goodbye email. Employee morale at Meta has collapsed. Internal anonymous ratings dropped 25% from their peak. The culture score fell 39%. At least 3 countdown websites were built by employees tracking the days until the layoffs began. One of them was titled, in the employee's own words, "Big Beautiful Layoff." Now let us talk about the detail that should concern everyone watching this video. Because it is not just about Meta. Weeks before the layoffs, Meta launched an internal program called the Model Capability Initiative. The goal of this program was to track what employees actually do at work. Every keystroke, every mouse click, every workflow pattern, captured, logged, and fed into an AI system. Why? To teach the AI how to replicate those tasks. Think about what that means. You are an employee. Your company asks you to use their tools, tools they control, tools they monitor. And without making it obvious, they are using your daily work patterns to train a machine to do your job. Then, weeks later, they send you a layoff email. Meta said the program was a legitimate research initiative. Employees could not read it that way. Over 1,000 of them signed internal petitions. And their instinct was probably right. The timing makes the intent almost impossible to deny. This is the new playbook. Watch the humans. Learn the patterns. Build the replacement. Remove the humans. The question you need to ask yourself is, does your company have a similar program? Because at the scale AI is moving in 2026, the answer at many companies may already be yes. Here's the thing that most commentary on this story gets wrong. They frame it as a meta problem, a Zuckerberg problem, a Silicon Valley problem. It is an infrastructure problem. And infrastructure problems do not stay in one place. Google raised its AI capital expenditure to $75 billion this year. Microsoft is spending $80 billion. Amazon is spending $100 billion. Oracle just announced cuts of 20 to 30,000 employees to redirect $8 to $10 billion toward AI. Together, the 5 biggest tech companies are committing over $400 billion to AI infrastructure in 2026 alone. That money has to come from somewhere. And the somewhere is headcount. But this story does not stop at tech companies. AI-driven traffic to retail websites grew 393% year-over-year in the first quarter of 2020. Retail companies are looking at those numbers and asking the same question Meta asked: why are we paying for this many people? Legal firms are facing it. An attorney in Nebraska was just suspended for filing court documents with 57 AI-generated fake citations. The law is not immune either. Healthcare administration, financial services, customer support, content creation. The AI wave is not moving sector by sector. It is moving job function by job function. Any role that involves repeatable cognitive tasks, reading, writing, sorting, responding, analyzing, is already being evaluated for AI replacement in boardrooms right now. And while all of this was happening at Meta, this week also delivered a verdict in what may be the most important legal case in AI history. Elon Musk, who co-founded OpenAI in 2015 and gave it $38 million, sued OpenAI and its CEO Sam Altman, claiming they had stolen a charity, that OpenAI had abandoned its original nonprofit mission and enriched themselves at the expense of humanity. The jury took less than 2 hours to throw out every single one of his claims, not because they ruled on whether Altman was right or wrong, but because Musk waited too long to file the case. The statute of limitations had expired. The implication is enormous. It means the question of who controls the most powerful AI companies, whether they serve humanity or shareholders, remains unanswered in court. Musk says he will appeal. But right now, OpenAI continues its path toward a full for-profit structure, unchallenged by law. 2 stories, 1 week, both pointing at the same thing. The people and institutions that were supposed to govern AI are losing, and the companies building it are winning. So what do you actually do with all of this? First, do not panic. Panic makes you reactive. Reactive people make bad career decisions. The employees at Meta who are landing new jobs fastest are the ones who spent the last 12 months building AI skills on the side, not the ones who spent those months hoping this would not happen. Second, understand which side of the line your skills are on. If your job involves doing the same cognitive task repeatedly, answering the same questions, processing the same types of documents, generating the same types of reports, that task is already being evaluated for AI replacement. That does not mean you will be replaced tomorrow. It means you should start learning how to be the person who runs the AI that does that task, rather than the person who does the task directly. Third, pay attention to what is growing. Meta is cutting 8,000 and hiring AI researchers at $100 million packages. Google just spent billions on I@IO this week. We covered that on Wednesday. The skills that travel are prompt engineering, agent design, understanding how to evaluate and deploy large language models, and knowing how to use AI tools to produce work 10 times faster than the person next to you. The goal is not to compete with AI. The goal is to be the person that AI makes 10 times more powerful. That is the only position in this economy that is safe. Meta made $56 billion and fired 8,000 people in the same week. Elon Musk lost the lawsuit that was supposed to hold OpenAI accountable. And over 140 companies cut 111,000 jobs this year, all citing one reason: artificial intelligence. This is not a warning. This is already happening. The only question is which side of it you are going to be on. If this video helped you understand what is really going on, drop a comment below with one word. What emotion did this video give you? Because I read every single one. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we break down exactly what is happening in AI, what it means, and what you should do about it. See you Monday.